that, we now turn our focus to one of Nigeria's most talked about political movement turned political party, the Labour Party. From its modest beginnings as a workers' advocacy platform in the early 2000s, the party remained largely on fringes of Nigeria's political landscape until 2022, when the entry of Peter Obi triggered a political wave that redefined its fortunes. In the 2023 general elections, the Labour Party moved from obscurity to national prominence, securing over 6 million votes and energizing new generation of politically conscious Nigerians. But just as quickly as it rose, the party has found itself entangled in a deep and a protracted leadership crisis, one that now threatens its unity, credibility, and future. Today, the party is divided along multiple lines, with factions led by Julius, Abure, and Nenadi, Usman, each laying claims to legitimacy, while key figures like Otti and Peter Obi appear aligned on opposing sides of the leadership divide. As Nigeria begins to look towards 2027, critical questions emerge. Is the Labour Party still a viable political force or a movement losing direction? Can it resolve its internal crisis in time to remain competitive? And ultimately, who truly controls the soul of the party? Joining us tonight to unpack these issues is Comrade Ceekay Igara, the National Vice Chairman, Southeast of the Labour Party. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me, and good evening, Nigerians.
Thank you. I guess I would like to start from what you see as, just give me the big picture. How did we get here? There was such a time, it was such a viable and formidable force with the obedient movement. And here we have your candidate, the 2023 presidential candidate, leaving the political party, and we still record this rift and internal crisis within the party. I guess I would like to start with the current state of the Labour Party as it is, and how did we get here?
Okay, thank you very much once again. I want to start by correcting one notion. Is that the entrance of obedient family?
I would have sworn. I knew I was going to bet that you were going to point that out.
Of course, yes, I should do that, because it wasn't the bet of the party. Like somebody like me, I've been in the party since 2008. Not only that, elections have been contested 2011, 2014, 2015, 2019, and 2023. Labour Party participated, and we've been winning elections. Remember the Darius that won Senate. Remember the Mimicos that won Gov. So a lot of elections, we've won lots of elections. So it didn't just start with 2023. But what happened was, after 2019, there was this shift in power. Our former chairman then, Abdul Salam Abdul Kadri, died 2020. And Maria Lebeke, the deputy chairman then, assumed responsibility of the party in line with the tradition and the constitution of the party. So, but the responsibility was so much for her. Then the NEC, within themselves, found it necessary to get a more prepared hand, since we were going to approach election by 2023, 2022. So they drafted Abure by 2021. So Abure was appointed by NEC as the acting national chairman. Abure took over, and their tenure was to end by 2023. But during the 2022 primaries, the convention was around December. It was during the P2B convention to elect him as the candidate. That's when the NEC looked at the whole ecosystem and said it would be disastrous for the party to remove Abure or the leadership by then. So there was a motion, and NLC, they were there, TUC were there, including PO and all the gladiators. We were all there, NEC members, state chairman and secretary. So all of us were there. So there was a motion that the lifespan of these executives should be extended so as to carry the litigations of 2023. That was what brought about the extension of the lifespan of the Abure-led executive. Now that was before by Abdul Salam. So they proposed 2 years, but there was this contention. So they were given 1 year. And said within this 1 year, conduct a convention.
Okay.
So as to bring
about a new
leadership. So we started from there. Then the elections came. We continued, both the litigation, of course you saw PO and you saw Abure always going to the court to defend that mandate. So immediately the election ended. So what was left was to conclude the second assignment that was given by NEC. That was conduct a convention. Meanwhile, before this time, the tenure of all the ward chairmen, ward officers, local government officers, and state officers were 3 years instead of 4 years. So NEC said, make all of them for 4 years, so that once we enter into the Congress and convention season, it will be from the ward, local government, state, and the national convention. So the national leadership then had to write to INEC. INEC, they were there.
Okay.
So they wrote them, gave them, since they were there when the decisions were taken. So when they wrote them, they gave approval. So there were this issue of time and whatever, until that we gave them the adequate time. But before then, some of the people who contested the election, who came from different other parties, came and said that the tenure of Abure has elapsed. Some of them did not know that NEC extended it till 2024. Now, PO, that's P2B, His Excellency P2B, who was there when this thing was done, owed them the responsibility of explaining to them that I was in the NEC when the lifespan of these executives were extended by 1 year. Now, he didn't do that. When he didn't do that, some of the elected officers, some of them who just wanted to hijack the party, came with this notion that Abure's tenure has elapsed. That's the genesis of the problem. When was the tenure, how did the tenure elapse, considering all this narrative? So that's the genesis of the problem. There comes this who won election. Well, because they won election, they came with the same mindset that in their previous parties, they were members of NEC, or they were leaders of the party. But they hadn't time to study the constitution of the Labour Party. And Labour Party said, the national chairman is the leader of the party.
Absolutely.
And he is to give direction to the party. If they had studied that, some of these nonsenses you see everywhere as crisis won't have arisen. And if there are people who believe in legitimacy, who allow constitution to rule them, if not that, we are in a society where lawlessness and rascality is celebrated. If not,
celebrated?
Of course, yes. If they are not celebrated, there are no reasons why people cannot sit down, look at the constitution of the party, and then say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Good. However, these are just one of those party internal rifts that often do not even see the light of day in other political parties. Why did this one get so bad that it destabilized the entire party? It got to factions, it even got to a lot of fights. At some point, you were arrested. For some of us who follow you, we saw that you were arrested, and we could not for the life of ourselves understand what exactly was going on. You have simply explained what happened. And a lot of us watching are saying, okay, that's but a very simple issue that could have been easily addressed. How did it get this bad?
Selfishness. You recall, during the convention at Newe, the convention gave automatic nomination to Peter Obi, His Excellency, and gave automatic nomination to His Excellency Dr. Alex Otti. When they gave them those nominations, now, what were they looking for? Is it not a nomination? They were given this automatic nomination. If they hadn't any other thing behind them, they should have accepted that and continue to work with the party, suggest things that they think is not proper. And the party, in its usual way, within the mechanisms of the party, put those things to bear. But that didn't happen.
But the convention in itself was also contended. A lot of party members or party stakeholders boycotted it.
Who were the party stakeholders? Can you tell me those who were the party stakeholders?
I should think you would tell me, because
in the constitution of the party, it is the national chairman, the national secretary, that will give notice to INEC, and it is the NEC that will put up the guideline for the convention.
Absolutely.
Those people that are talking about the stakeholders are not members of the NEC. Peter Obi is not a member of the NEC. The NEC is only about the National Working Committee members, the state chairmen and their secretaries across the nation. If we have a governor, deputy governor, if we have a president, vice president, who are members of the party, senate president and vice, who are members of the party, speaker of the federal house, and who are members of the party. That is what constitutes the NEC. But in some other political parties, you may see members of the House of Assembly. You may even see traders as members of their NEC. But in our own, it was carved in such a way that we're very careful, because we are building a political party that will protect the interest and image of all categories of Nigerians. Not for the bourgeois, not for the more deep.
And it showed, it reflected in the election.
That is why they don't want it. Some of these bourgeois want a situation where they can hijack the party structure and still continue to do things the way they used to do it in other political parties. After most of these people are roving politicians. You can count
and all
many of them.
All Nigerian politicians not roving.
No. I have been there I've never gone to any port. So now some of them, if you look at the antecedent, you see some of them are crisscrossed about 4 or 5 political parties. So they are not interested. What they are interested is just to get the ticket, get the best of any political party, and then whatever happens to the political party is not their business. So that's the problem. That's the crux of the problem. And ourselves in Labour Party, mind you, we are coming from the foundation of social democrats.
Exactly.
For the workers, for the interest of the common Nigerians. They were not there when we were discussing all these issues. They've not taken time to study the principles and ideologies and the philosophy behind the Labour Party. If they had done this, maybe they would have known that what they are doing is outside the fence.
Are you celebrating the exit of Peter Obi, who came with that wave, and where are you at the moment? Should Nigerians trust you towards 2027? In
the first place, Peter Obi was not a member of Labour Party.
He's still a member of Labour
I said before 2022,
right.
He was not a member of the party.
Right.
Even during the convention, the contestants, those who were running for president, didn't want to step down for him. It took the intervention of Abure and the member of NWC to pressurize those young men to step down for him. So he hadn't all it takes. It's just because of the preparations of the party and the NSAS movement that joined Labour Party.
Right.
That's what brought Labour Party to where Labour Party is. So the young man I came here with are one of the people that founded the obedient movement you are hearing about. And he's still in the Labour Party. Marcel, who is in the UK, was one of the founding members. He is now the director of our contract and mobilization in the Labour Party. He's still there. He's a directorate.
He's coincidentally a regular here on the show.
So that's what I'm telling you.
But my question right now is, are you back to the fundamentals of the party, the ideology that started the Labour Party in the first place? How are you ensuring that Nigerians trust you not to have rifts here and there? That wave that came with the obedient movement, is it something you can awaken among Nigerians again, or is it something that is tied to Obi himself? Did you get to that point, that structure that was one of the things that was mentioned each time the Labour Party was talked about? You lacked national structure. Have you worked on that national structure now, ready for 2027? Why should Nigerians trust you?
If we were not working, Peter Obi would have not seen Labour Party as an option. If we were not viable, all these people that saw us and came wouldn't have come. After all, we had over 19 political parties there. So why did they just choose Labour Party?
Why did Labour Party open their doors for people who did not know the fundamentals of the party?
Because there were some consultations at the highest level. Some of us, okay, now let me shock you. Are you aware that myself as the state chairman of Labour Party in Abia that's supposed to get hold of all the nominations. I didn't see one nomination. And the nomination were packaged and handed over to an aspirant. Have you ever heard such story?
How did these fragments begin?
Good. It started from what they did, the issue of the mentality of bourgeois. They left Abia and they forgot about all the processes, the procedures of joining the party, came to Abuja here. The mistake the national leadership then made was, without consultations, handed over the party to them. It was when things started going out of their way that they realized that, no, we had a fundamental structure. And that structure was there. And it is those who were in the party that are still there till today. Despite all those things. Now, let me tell you. If they had value to the party, if they came with a value, most of us would have ordinarily followed them. I am telling you, go and ask any other party member. All the people that won election in the party didn't add any value to the party. So I said so. I was the chairman that brought the governor. If not myself as a person, and I'm not somebody that will come and start begging you. The vehicles I use are all my personal vehicles to campaign for him. The money I use are my personal funds to campaign for Alex, to campaign for Peter Obi. None of them gave me 1 naira. None of them. They cannot come here and say they gave me 1 kobo. None of them. So all we did was we did it because we wanted a change in the system, not because of them. So if we're looking for money, we would have started asking them for money. I said, I'm mentioning it on air. Dr. Alex Otti, Peter Obi, even when he came to Abia, they left a debt of 9 million for me. I'm quoting them. I'm saying it. A debt of 9 million.
I wish we really had time to go into the financials of it, because it was one of the things that were contended as well in the Labour Party. But the legal battle, do you see it as political? And I really would like to hear from you.
It's not political. Let me correct that impression.
Right.
It is those who think they can hijack the party because they feel they saw no bourgeois, no ex-minister, ex-president, ex-governor in the Labour Party.
Which wasn't the ideals of the
Labour
Party
ideal.
Anyway.
That's what I'm telling you, that they didn't know the ideal, the principle and the philosophy that brought Labour Party to bear.
Right.
If they knew about it, they would have been thinking that way. Now, if up until today, we are still where we are, doing what we are doing, that's why we could challenge that pronouncement by the Federal High Court of Lipo, bringing an illegal person to be the caretaker chairman of Labour Party, even when there's something like caretaker in our constitution. So that's why we are now trying to point it clear to Nigerians that illegality, no matter where it is given, any injustice anywhere is injustice to everyone. If they allow the so-called people that came 2 days when they had lost their membership, lost the opportunity and privilege of contesting in another political party, if they allow them to come here, come to the Labour Party, it means it can happen to even APC, it can happen to PDP, it can happen to every other Nigerian, that nobody is safe in this country.
If you had a way to make things better for the Labour Party and you, with a swing of your wand, everything gets better, what would it be and what are the processes you would like to see so that once again the Labour Party is back to its fundamentals and Nigerians trust it for the ideals and principles that you stand for?
Go back to status quo. Hand it over to those who have been running the party to make sure that they continue on that platform, on the fundamentals. That thing that formed the Labour Party, which we have been doing, which we were doing before these ones saw and came. So if you hand it back to those who are doing it, after all, everything they are doing is very legitimate. What we are doing is legitimate. Why? There was a convention at Newe. That convention brought about this current NWC.
Right.
Now that's the reason why when Justice Clifford Peter pronounced Nenadi, we went on appeal. And that appeal, we're still waiting the outcome.
Okay.
We're waiting for the outcome. Once the outcome comes, according to what we have agreed, if the outcome is not in line with what we are asking, we'll go to
Supreme Court.
Yes.
But beyond that, does it scare you as a last question, the Obi wave? Does it concern you that with his exit from the Labour Party, it would affect your popularity come 2027?
How many governors did you win after the Abure?
One, I think.
Only
Only one.
We're going to win more.
You're
without
that,
Obi.
you're that confident.
We are going to win more without Obi.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being part of the show. We will bring you again. We have so much more to discuss. That has been CJ Igara, National Vice Chairman, Southeast Labour Party. But this is where we end today's edition of Joyous Live. Thank you so much for watching. Rest assured, we'll be back next time with more. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you very much.